Gonna call to order our regular council meeting of Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. It was moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of February 10th, 2026 be approved as printed. All those in favor? The Township of Black River, Maston acknowledges the Apatipi and Isinipek Nation traditional territory. We live, play, and work here together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. A reminder to all in attendance that council meetings are recorded and made available to the public on the township website for review. Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none. Was moved by Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Allen. Be it resolved that the minutes of the following council meetings be approved as printed. January 27th, 2026 regular council meeting, January 27th, 2026 special council meeting. All those in favor? It was moved by Councillor Allen, seconded by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that council hereby receives the minutes of the following external committee meetings as presented. The NEPH Board of Health meeting, health minutes, November 27th, 2025, and the NEPH Board of Health minutes, January 12th, 2026. All those in favor? Move on to consent agenda items. Moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Bouchard. Be it resolved that the consent agenda item listed on the February 10th, 2026 regular council agenda be received by council, and that the recommendations and motions contained therein be supported as presented. Questions or comments? Call for vote. All those in favor? New business. Moved by Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Bouchard. Be it resolved that council approve complimentary access to municipal gym facilities for all active members of the Black River Maston Fire Department. And further, that such access be administered by staff in coordination with the fire chief and senior management, subject to applicable facility rules and municipal policies. Open the floor for questions or comments. Councillor Campbell.
I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure why this hasn't been done already or since the gym's been open. But I think all our firefighters should get a free gym membership. Also on that note, can we bring back a report for delegation of authority? Because I think stuff like this should be able to be dealt with in-house instead of coming to council.
Yes, true, very true. We can do that through a resolution, but is there any other comments beforehand on this, Councillor Allen?
I'd just like to second what Councillor Campbell said about this being a great idea. I think all fire department members should have access to the gym and be able to, hone their skills, if you will, in some ways, and have access to that kind of thing, because that only makes our fire department better.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so if we're gonna follow Councillor Campbell's resolution idea, can you write a resolution or can we throw one on the table?
So the mayor, there's already a motion on the table. So once that's approved, we can table the next one.
Okay. Any other comments on the on this new business? Okay. I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Okay. Mr. Lee?
There's a mayor, for clarification, Councillor Campbell, did you want direct staff to prepare a report on delegation authority or draft delegation authority?
Yeah, I think we can back a report on one.
Report, okay.
Yeah.
So what Mr. Council Campbell is asking for, just a report so that items like this can just be dealt with at the staff level and not have to come in. Perfect.
There's a resolution, just move in a second.
There. The resolution will read, be it resolved that council directs staff to prepare and bring back a report on a delegation of authority for council's consideration at a future meeting. So if I could have a move and a second on that, please. Moved by Councillor Allen. Second by Councillor Bouchard. Perfect. Call for a vote, then all those in favor? Carried. Good, perfect. Thank you, Councillor Cancel. Move on to item B, was moved by Councillor Cancel, second by Councillor Bouchard. Be it resolved that the following individuals be appointed as public members to the Museum Artifacts Advisory Committee for the duration of the committee's mandate. We have 4 members of the public: John McKenzie, Karen Barber, Linda Acton, and Barb Torthwaite. And further, that Councillor Blank be appointed as the council representative to the Museum Artifacts Advisory Committee. I'll open the floor for questions, comments, or suggestions to fill in that blank. Councillor Allen.
I believe it was Councillor Morris was the one who brought up a lot to do with this and wanted to have some involvement in it. So I know she's not here today, so she can't speak for herself, but is it possible that we could defer the appointment?
To defer it or suggestion?
I don't, okay, suggest then, we could suggest, as long as we give her the opportunity to approve or deny kind of thing.
Can we,
Is that something we can do?
if we go ahead and she is approved, is she done, etched in stone? Ms. Relief?
Through the mayor, it's a committee of council, so at any point you can remove a councillor and appoint a new one if she doesn't want to be the council representative.
Okay. I agree with Councillor Allen that she was very adamant that she wanted to be on it and she'd shown quite an interest, so. I don't see why we can't just continue on with putting her name in the blank and going on from there. Everybody's in agreement, the resolution would read in further that Councillor Morris be appointed as the council representative to the Museum Artifacts Advisory Committee. Okay. Good with that? Okay, I'll call for vote. All those in favor? Carried. There you go. Item C, moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Cancel. Whereas prescription drug diversion, particularly involving regulated opioids and other controlled medications, presents a serious and growing risk to public health, community safety, and vulnerable populations across Ontario, including northern and rural communities. And whereas evidence from law enforcement, health professionals, and community drug strategy partners demonstrates that diverted prescription medications are contributing to substance misuse, criminal activity, and increased strain on health, social, and enforcement systems throughout Northern Ontario. And whereas the partnership and collaboration project, The Birth of Change, written by the North Bay Police Services and Community Drug Strategy of North Bay area, brings together law enforcement, addiction medicine specialists, pharmacists, public health partners, and community organizations to address prescription diversion through a collaborative, evidence-based, and multi-sector approach. And whereas the project identifies practical regulatory, prescribing, dispensing, and prevention measures intended to reduce diversion while maintaining appropriate access to medically necessary pain management and addiction treatment services. And whereas municipalities across Northern Ontario are experiencing the downstream impacts of prescription diversion, including pressures on emergency services, policing, housing stability, and community well-being, therefore be it resolved that the Township of Blackburn-Masson formally supports the partnership and collaboration project, The Birth of Change, and its objectives to reduce prescription drug diversion through coordinated evidence-based action. And further be it resolved that the Township of Blackburn-Masson calls on the Province of Ontario, including the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Mental Health and Addictions, to review and give serious consideration to the project's recommendations, including regulatory, prescribing, dispensing, and prevention strategies aimed at mitigating prescription diversion while protecting patient care. And further be it resolved that the Township of Blackburn-Masson encourage continued provincial engagement with municipalities, law enforcement, health professionals, pharmacists, and community partners to ensure that solutions are practical, regionally appropriate, and responsive to the realities faced by Northern Ontario communities. And finally, be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Minister of Health, the Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, Sergeant Brad Rome, Northern Ontario members of Provincial Parliament, NOMA, AMO, and Roma. Any questions or comments on that? No, I will call for a vote then. All those in favor? We'll move on to reports. Was moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that council acknowledges receipt of T 2026-003 Green Inclusive Report as attached for information purposes. Questions or comments from council? Councillor Campbell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The total project cost for the solar panels is coming out to 1.7 million now. Is this the final or is it gonna continue to grow?
There is one more cost. I'll let Ms. Larson speak on that.
To the mayor and council. So there was additional costs I noted of 32,500 for the environmental assessment and the financial audit. I have just got notification that we don't have to do the environmental assessment. But the financial audit, I've just sent everything to the auditor, so hopefully that'll be it.
Councillor Bouchard?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Would it be possible also to have some kind of a plan or of action to regularly clean the solar panels so we can maximize their electricity generation? I mean, it snows almost every day, but at least we could clean them at least once a week. But it would help to try to maximize their revenue.
Mr. Zager?
Yeah, so in talking to the third party that installed the solar panels, they're working at getting us what would be best to clean off the solar panels. They don't usually recommend us touching them, even like with a light brush, so we're working through that. And then also through the 2026 budget, there is an additional part-time casual employee for rec. But part of their duties would also be maintaining the solar panels, so we're just working through the bugs there on coming up with the best solution so that we don't damage our panels. Because the panel that we have approximately 5 to 7 extra panels, and then either than that, if we start to break panels, chances are that the panels that have been installed will no longer be available, and then we would have to modify the solar farm to fit the panel. So we're just waiting for the recommendations to come back on how to exactly clean them.
Councillor Bouchard?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, just be cautious that you don't let too much snow accumulate on that, because it will break. If you can minimize that somehow to a certain extent, and I think this summer, I think we'll have to look at maybe cutting trees towards the train tracks. That might be, might be like blocking some of the solar coming in on the late night. Because the trees are fairly high on one side. For something to look at.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from council on the Green Inclusive Report? I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that council acknowledges receipt of T 2026-004 remuneration report as attached for information purposes. Questions or comments on that report? Okay, call for a vote on that one. All those in favor? Was moved by Councillor Campbell, second by Councillor Allen. Be it resolved that council acknowledges receipt of FC 2025-13 Fire Department 2025 year-end report as attached for information purposes. Questions or comments on that report? I will comment, Mr. Fire Chief. Just two things to note of appreciation. One is the community involvement, the section of community involvement from the firemen seems to be growing every year. So I think it's good on them. Again, not only taking away time from their families and their loved ones on a fire and training, but yeah, a lot of these things are on weekends and nights. So again, kudos to everyone in the fire department for taking time to be involved in our community. And that falls into my next one, which is the service awards. It's pretty nice to see some long serving individuals. So it's for us to recognize them. The more times we can say it, I think it really goes a long way. So appreciation to everything that each of your members as well as you do for our community. Councillor Allen?
I'd also like to second that, and the fact that they've been out in the community a lot and doing a lot of things that are firefighter related. Also gets a lot of the kids and young people interested in it and gets it in the back of their mind so that when they do become of age and they are able to apply for it, hopefully seeing a lot of these people and having these really good interactions with them really pumps it up for them to attend. So
Pause while Councillor Gatter comes in from the snowstorm.
I was home an hour ago.
With the fire department, is there any other questions from council regarding the fire department? Nope. Nope. Councillor Bouchard?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Did we ever get those, Scott?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all in the, yeah, actually, the one picture in the training there, that's the guys training on the new SCBA's. Well, they're all sitting in the truck at the front,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah, they're pretty state of the art units.
Okay. Beautiful fire.
Okay, I will call for a vote then on that report. All those in favor? Here. Was moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Cancel. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Blackburn, Masson hereby receives and acknowledges the following reports from the Ontario Clean Water Agency, Aqua, the Blackburn Masson Drinking Water Systems Management Review Meeting Minutes of 2025, and the Blackburn Masson Quarterly Operation Report 2025 for the fourth quarter. Any questions or comments from council on that report? Okay, call for a vote on that report. All those in favor? Moving right along, bylaws, moved by Councillor Allen, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-14 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the corporation of the Township of Blackburn, Masson be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 10th day of February 2026. All those in favor? Carried. It was moved by Councillor Bouchard, second by Councillor Campbell. Be it resolved that this regular council meeting is hereby adjourned at 6:50 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so